Hey, I'm Sarah, the Chief Speech Pathologist at Voice Science, and welcome back to another episode. Today we're zooming in on the role of one of the most incredible muscles in your body, your tongue. In fact, I've written a blog about this over on our website, so make sure you click across to check it. Yep, that's right. I'm here today to show you the mechanical magic of your tongue and what it needs to do for clear English speaking. So, if your game plan is to boost your English pronunciation clarity and sound more confident when communicating, you may not have thought for 1 second that your tongue will have a massive role in this process. A malleable tongue is the most important aspect of mature speech production. A quote from Pam Mashala, speech pathologist. Our team of speech pathologists work daily with clients from all language backgrounds, and I've got to tell you, probably 40 to 60% of the info we're going to give you in sessions with us will be about your tongue.
I know the reason why we chose to say goodbye,
When we assess your pronunciation, we also take into account your tongue precision and agility. Ignoring your tongue when working on your pronunciation is actually a bit like driving your car without wheels. Now, you wouldn't do that, would you? So stay tuned while we uncover some top tips. And here is what you're going to learn today. Firstly, we'll cover some basic tongue geography so that when you work on your English sounds, you can be more specific with your tongue movements. And then we're going to talk about 6 key actions your tongue needs to master for English to give you more awareness about your tongue muscles' behaviour. And finally, I'll tell you about my secret 4 tongue skills you definitely need if you're thinking about working on your English pronunciation. Okay, so it's time to learn some tongue geography. Here is a diagram that I've drawn up for you of your tongue, and it's just sitting there hanging out of your mouth. We're looking at it from above at the top. Now, all of these parts which are labelled are names for positions on the tongue muscle, and each of these portions of the tongue have a different role for every single sound. There are so many movements that your tongue needs for English sounds, and when we work with you to help you clarify your sounds, it pays to focus in on the instructions we give you about your tongue. Make sure you take notes on what your tongue is doing. Let's go into some basic tongue manoeuvres you've got to have to pronounce some essential English sounds. The first manoeuvre is the lingual grasp. Here, your tongue can clench just like your fist would. Clench your hand and try and mimic that with your tongue. Now, we use this position of the tongue for eating, swallowing, singing, my favourite thing, and speaking. The next action of the tongue is the lift and curl. Here, your tongue tip lifts and curls while the body of the tongue rests low. And please excuse me, I'm a little uncoordinated with my hands. So the tongue lifts and curls, and the body of the tongue, which you saw in the diagram, rests low at the base of the mouth. The use of this movement is super important to make many English consonants accurately, like the T sound, the D sound, the N sound, and so many more. The next movement is tip elevation. So here your tongue lifts at the tip to the soft tissue just behind your top teeth, without the sides of the tongue touching anything. This is a super crucial position for sounds like L, and if you're getting stuck on that sound, I really encourage you to check this vlog, which will talk you through a lot about the tongue position. The next step, or movement, is the ability for you to make your tongue go into tongue protrusion. So this one is particularly tough if English isn't your first language. Here we require you to make your tongue exit your mouth and enter the room. We use this sound for lots of things like eating gelato on a cone, but also for the English th sound for words like that, this, there, thing, thanks. So that's a really distinct movement of the tongue that will really nail your English pronunciation if you master the ability to smoothly protrude your tongue with the right formation on some target sounds that are really English. The next movement behavior is retraction. So here your tongue is retracting or moving backwards towards the back of your throat. And this is quite tough for some speakers. We call it has another name, and we call it bunching. So what you're doing is you're taking the muscle and you're kind of bunching it and you're pulling it backwards. What is the use? Well, it's definitely important for eating. Another favourite activity of mine. When you eat, your tongue has to pull backwards, and that's what helps you drive the food to the back of your mouth so that you're ready to swallow. But this movement is also really essential for many vowels and consonants of English. And in fact, we even have a whole set of vowels that we call back vowels. So when we form the back vowel, the tongue is starting to move backward with the same mechanical adjustment. Now, this is not a totally conclusive list of all of the tongue movements. In fact, some people will say that there's up to 17 to 20 different movements of the tongue required for English. But I wanted to take you through the key ones. So let's wrap up with the last one for today, and that is relaxing. So here, your tongue muscle is loose and it's just sitting flat at the base of the mouth. So it's hanging out, resting behind your bottom teeth without any tension. And you can check if your tongue is loose by placing your thumb underneath your chin, flattening the tongue loosely, and you shouldn't feel any flexion in the base here under the chin. Now to contrast that with a tense tongue, flex your gums, feel that muscle tension. I don't really have gums, but I'm going to flex them. So that's muscle constriction. That can give you a prompt for what you want to do now with the tongue to create muscle tension. So now try and get that same expansion of the muscle that you felt in your arm underneath the chin, and that will tell you your tongue was flexing forward with tension. Okay, so now you know the difference between relaxing and loosening. When do we relax the tongue? Well, relaxation of the tongue is really vital actually for clean and clear voice when singing. And that's something that opera singers are always aiming for. As an opera singer, I'm always keeping my tongue forward and loose as much as I can while respecting what my sounds need. So if you're wanting a clear voice, it's really important to make sure your tongue is loose where possible. We also use a loose tongue for linking. If your tongue is too tight and stiff, it will really impact on your ability to move, link and connect phrase level pronunciation. And overall, we can see that if the tongue is loose enough and knows where it needs to go for all the maneuvers on the sounds that you're making, it will really affect your voice quality and your speech flow in a super positive way. Now, moving on, there are 4 tongue skills you need when working on your English pronunciation. Who would have thunk? 4 tongue skills, so let's cover them. Number 1, you need to know the precise tongue movements for the English sounds, both vowels and consonants. They all have different requirements so that your sounds don't distort. Number 2, you need smooth coordination with your tongue movement so that you sound more fluent and words link and flow without mechanical interruption due to the tongue not being sure where it belongs. Number 3, you need to be able to achieve a sufficient speed of movement. A slow tongue is like a lousy gear change when you're driving, and it will increase distortions and reduce your ability to link and sound natural. And finally, you need to have tongue independence. Now, I'm not talking about a new social movement to liberate your tongue, but it doesn't hurt to think of this. At Voice Science, we see a lot of clients struggling to make their tongue move without involving other muscles and structures in the face. An example of this would be trying to pronounce a clear V and wrinkling up your nose. That. So that reduces my perceptual naturalness. Or you might find that you're tightening your jaw too much when you pronounce the R sound. R. So that's too much tension in the jaw while the tongue is trying to do its job. So that then becomes really uncomfortable for you, but also you appear unnatural through the muscles of the face for your conversation partner. Now you know all these amazing things that you've probably never thought about your tongue's role in speaking. What should you do next? If you're working with us and using Cadenza, your personalised digital practice suite that comes with all of our pronunciation clarity programs, you should now be able to analyse your sounds and their production more effectively. Take a sound goal that we've identified for you and ask yourself the following questions. Which part of my tongue is involved in this sound? What does my tongue tip need to touch for this sound to occur correctly? When I see myself make the sound in a mirror, is my tongue independent, or do I get other muscles involved? And as a result, do I end up looking like I'm doing a crazy kind of dance on my face? And finally, 4, is my tongue flexing or relaxing for this sound? If you're not a client working with us, take a sound you think is not going well for you. The questions might work as well just for you to help you get some more understanding of the sound or understand what you might need to learn about the sound. If you want to get some feedback on your English pronunciation, you should definitely check out your personalised pronunciation audit. You'll score yourself a total audit into every single sound of English so that you learn which sounds need more work. We'll also do a fun vocal health survey and spot check aspects of your social communication to make sure that you're speaking as comfortably and as confidently as you can. I hope that this tutorial gave you a chance to learn something new about your English pronunciation, especially the role of your amazing tongue. Thank you so much for being here and spending time listening to these ideas. I hope you feel empowered and inspired. Make sure you follow us over on Instagram and Facebook as well for daily communication tips. Wanting to level up your English pronunciation? Well, why not head to our tips page over on our website? There you can find loads of tips and free tutorials. And as we conclude, please remember your voice and message matter immensely. So stand tall, smile big, and have a great day. Ciao for now.